Frankie Abbruzzino with EDG Realty. You can find out more at realestatebyfrankie.com. Go there, check it out, and find the latest MLS. If you want to see the value of your home, go there. I got a tool for that too. So let's talk a little bit about house dropping. Today I was talking to a broker in a sauna, and we were talking about the market and basically how he was saying how traditionally December's a weak month, and he'll be lucky to see any sales come in because it's been such a weak market. People are reducing the price of their home on a regular basis. He gets a ton of those, and there's just not a lot of interest. So basically, the buyer demand, which we all know, has dropped, and that's due to the rising rates. The seller supply has slowed down because now a lot of them are pulling back. They're like, oh, I'm not going to get what I think my home is valued at, so now they're pulling them out. And it's creating this uneasy balance out there. And so what can we expect with the coming market? They're saying it's in basically a state of equilibrium where the demand is plummeting because the mortgage rates are so high, even though they're lower off their highs right now. It's hit a 2-decade high, but the prices haven't declined as much, in part because the supply remains rather low. And basically, the borrowing costs don't start, if they don't start to normalize by early next year, we're going to see the scales that are finally going to tip, is what most of the individuals are saying out there. And what can we see at the start of the year? And that's when you see a bunch of houses start to come on the market. Basically, buyers and sellers, they get out there, they start doing transactions because they want them closed by the time summer comes. They want to be able to move the kids to new schools. They got the spring, hey, we can do open house. It's spring, it's beautiful, it's luscious. Although in Florida, it's a little bit different than up north. But you got the amount of supply on the market that's still extraordinarily low, and that's relative to the demand that's out there. Even with all the new construction going on around here, it's still relatively low because of everyone that's moving into the area. And it will take about 3.5 months, 3.3 months, I think, is what this one article put it through for the demand basically to work through the market's existing home inventory. And that, I believe, is on a it's either Florida or national. I believe it's on a Florida basis. But what we're seeing out there is the amount of supply in the market is still extraordinarily low. And the inventory to sales ratio generally will spike come January or February when transactions crater, the first new listings start to hit the market. You see people wanting to get rid of those houses. But what will impact it? What will be some of the factors that go into it? Some would-be sellers may decide to forego transactions this year because they don't want that lower price for their home. So they're going to hunker down. They're going to hold to their house. Some don't want to sell it because they're like, hey, I'm getting 3% on this house. Why should I sell it and have to go buy a home at an inflated rate with a higher mortgage? So they're saying, I'm just going to hold out. And a lot of them, I think it's total around 34%, are mortgage free. They just don't have a mortgage. So why go out? Why sell my house and have to go out and pay a ton of money? Again, in some inflated values. Some put it. So I heard one broker, I think it was yesterday, said something like 42% inflated rate on housing. And I know different realtors and brokers will argue that point. But basically, many homeowners simply won't have the luxury of waiting until the next open house season to roll around, and they got to get rid of that house. So there are going to be some houses going on the market. People, they got to move for work. The seniors have health issues. This is how I got this house about 3-4 years ago. He basically had to go into a home, and we were able to get it at a kick-butt deal before the pricing took off. And the other idea is growing old. People growing larger here, having kids. You might have a 2-bedroom house, you need a 3-bedroom. And basically here in Florida, ever since the COVID, a broker was telling me today, ever since COVID, the condos are going away to the wayside. People more or less want the 3-2 house with a pool, and that's driven a lot by the remote working. They want an environment where they can swim. They're going to be working out of the house a lot, and this is one of those COVID-era things. But we see a shift from that remote house attitude, if you want to call it, because there's a survey out by the Working Arrangements and Attitudes, Survey of Working Arrangements and Attitudes. As of June, only 15% of full-time employees are fully remote. Now, I've been remote for 22 years, and that's when I left my corporate life with Verizon as a regional manager, and I started my company Telephonics in the medical arena. So I've basically been working out of house forever. To me, remote is the norm. It's just saves. I did get an office and I had a bunch of employees, but it just didn't work out, so I went back to remote. And so will that continue? And if you're only seeing 15%, that's not a lot. And that's not going to drive a lot of the attitude. I know when I went to Cleveland with my accountant and I went around in downtown area, I'm like, man, it's dead down here. And he said, everybody's working remotely. They haven't gone back to the offices. So will we continue to see that trend? I don't know. That survey indicates differently. So you're going to see, I think it's unavoidable at the beginning of the year, you're going to see this spike in the real estate. And the real question is, will the mortgage rates drop? They've been continuing to drop. There's rumor that the feds are going to drop the points again. You know, I had 3 basis points. I think it was just, what was it, last month? Yeah, last month you had, I think it was the 3rd consecutive one. There's word that they're going to drop it and start to stabilize everything out. Will we see that? Will that drive people to the market? Who knows what the market holds for us? And again, Florida's completely different than other markets, and that's because we lead the, you'll see an article I'm posting later today, we're leading the market in international sales and cash sales. A lot of, I think it's somewhere in 62% of the sales within Florida are straight up cash. So it's a different environment. A lot of people are moving here to Florida. So completely different market, but I can tell you, like I said, my brokerage, a lot of brokerages will tell you that the sales have dived, complete stop just about. And it goes beyond the traditional slow December month. They're hoping to see that uptick. We'll see how it all pans out. But if you want more information, go out to realestatebyfrankie.com. There you can like my Facebook page, Frankie Abbruzzino, comma realtor, I think it is, or dash realtor. And I put updates, I put news articles out there that are interesting. And again, on my site, you can get MLS listings. You can check all the latest listings. You can see what your CMA is for your home if you want to get rid of it, and all that great stuff. And that is at Frankie, realestatebyfrankie.com. All right, everybody, have a great day.